Hi Jeff and Jessica, welcome to our fortnightly work health and safety meeting. How are you both today?
Hi Isaac, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Hey Jeff, I'm good thanks.
I'm good, thanks, Isaac.
Glad to hear you guys. I'm glad that you're both here and thank you for being prompt as always. Today I'd like to discuss the following with you. Hazards identified in the workplace inspection, hazards and risks arising from the analysis of the work health and safety incident data, issues from team training day, and hazards identified in the hazard incident report, and lastly, appropriate control measures to minimise and prevent the risk. Now, unfortunately, we had an incident occur last week in which Jeff severely sprained his wrist in a practice fire drill. We need to really get on top of these risks to prevent serious injuries like Jeff's from occurring.
I definitely agree, Isaac. If this was a real fire drill, it could have been a lot worse.
Definitely. By the way, how is your wrist going, Jeff?
It's getting better slowly, just need to take it easy.
Good to hear, Jeff. So after looking at the report, it was clear to see that there was a number of hazards that were identified. The main ones and the most concerning of them all was a large water spill that had not been cleaned up, which caused Jeff's injury. There were a number of hazardous items scattered over the floor. There was a light hanging by a single cord over the desk, and the bottom drawer of the filing cabinet was left open.
The hazards you have identified are very concerning for our office team. I really feel that we need to get onto these things a lot quicker in regards to minimising these hazards.
I agree, Jess. It's as though a few of the staff members haven't received the right training and are unaware of the importance of reporting incidents as they happen, as well as identifying the risks.
It definitely appears to be the case here, unfortunately, and it's something we definitely need to drill into our staff. If our construction workers can be safe on site, our office staff should be as well. The next thing I'd like to touch on is the hazards and risks arising from the hazards identified in the report. Firstly, the spill could have caused a slip for anyone walking by, which sadly it did. This led to one of our workers being seriously injured. The obstacles on the floor weren't just a major trip hazard, but they were also flammable, which in the event of a fire could have caused the fire to spread or could have potentially started a fire. The light hanging by a single cord over the desk was a major hazard and could have caused severe injury or even death. Out of all the hazards identified for me, this is one of the more serious ones. Lastly, the fact that the bottom drawer of the filing cabinet was left open is a major trip hazard, especially with the workers constantly having to go to the cabinet to get worksite plans and other important documents. This is a very dangerous situation. After hearing about what could arise from the hazards, what are your thoughts, guys?
First of all, I was very unaware of a lot of these hazards. It really worries me that we work in such an unsafe place. Why aren't we sectioning off this office?
Good question. It's extremely unsafe to work.
My question is, why aren't we getting anyone in to do regular checks to ensure the lights are secured to prevent these hazards and risks? The spill was not cleaned up, has since forced me out of some of the activities I enjoy, as well as having to do some time off work.
I understand where you're both coming from. We need to implement control measures to minimise and prevent these risks. Now, from what I can see, there's clearly been a few issues from team training day in which staff have not been correctly trained to deal with hazards and risks, or part of that training has been left out.
Can I say something before we go on?
Yeah, Jessica, go for it.
Since starting my role here in the office for Myers Construction, I've never been onboarded or trained around hazards and risks and what to do in a situation such as a fire drill.
That is a major concern. Not blaming you because it isn't your fault, but why weren't you trained properly?
I don't know.
Alright, I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, but I had a chat to Ryan and Anita, and I was quite interested at what they had to say. Anita told both Jessica and I that it was a practice fire drill, and it didn't really matter, and in the real situation, you just follow the dudes with the coloured hats, and they'll tell us what to do. But what if they're not there? Ryan apparently saw the spill and was going to get someone to clean it up, but then the drill started,